What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I want to talk about wild format because, a lot of us are having fun over in Modern, which is now human only, or it's anti-bot. And it's great because we get to earn a lot more per battle, and you can just see from the distribution here in terms of overall battles, it's very clear that, we don't necessarily have, 45,000, 50,000 players actually in the ecosystem, and we know that there is a prevalence of bots. And now you can clearly see where those bots are playing because the amount of battles happening in Wild is significantly higher than what's happening in Modern, right? So you can see 24,000 versus 600,000, 500,000, right? So it's very clearly obvious. So I want to get that out of the way. Now, what I want to talk about when it comes to the quote-unquote bot problem is I actually think it's being framed incorrectly. Now, don't get me wrong. I think bots obviously extract, and I'm bot neutral when it comes to this. This is really an incentive problem, and I'll get to this later. But in my opinion, and again, I'm just kind of throwing this out there just to see, if other people feel the same way or if this kind of reshapes the way that you view it, similar to me. But Wild doesn't really have a quote-unquote bot problem. Yes, okay. Obviously, the human-only element in Modern is keeping bots out of Modern, and they've all moved to Wild now. But really, it's still, at the end of the day, an incentives issue because what's actually happening is that with these bots, there is pure ROI incentive, meaning that what they are able to do in terms of extracting value or building resources and building accounts in the game is only accomplishable because of the fact that there are cheap cards available. And what I mean by that is, just take a look at Chaos Legion, take a look at all the reward cards that have come through. You can build decks that can play, right? They're 24 plus energy per day with just those cards, right? Especially now with the Soulbound cards. Everything that you play and use in game is actually, it's possible to earn with all of those assets. Now, here's the thing, right? At the end of the day, there's too many cards. We obviously know that. But what I'm trying to reframe this as is it's not like a bot problem. The cards is the oversupply of cards and therefore the cheapness, right? The cheap prices on these cards, cheap values on so many of these cards is really what's causing or allowing the bot problem to happen. So again, bots will look at something and make it worse, right? I don't know that bots are necessarily the core issue in any major thing. It's just when bots come along or automation comes along, it tends to magnify the problem. So when we talk about bots, yes, we've done a good job of passing the proposal in Modern so that bots move over to Wild. But at the end of the day, right, even if we didn't pass that, there would still be an issue of way too cheap cards and the incentive structure for people to come in and earn more than what they put into the game, especially when once you buy the cards, you hold them forever and you can keep on earning SPS and other value, assets that may come through in the game from these battles. Before it was packs. Now it's, we'll see how the Soulbound reward cards shape up. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we're not going to get rid of cards. So I'm just reframing the problem. I don't necessarily have a solution. So let me just put that right off the bat. Because here's the thing. The game runs on cards. Like, it is a trading card game. So meaning the team requires sales of these cards in order for them to fund themselves, right? So they need to sell cards in order for the company and the business to continue. On top of that, cards are also given away as rewards, as historically done. Obviously, a year ago, we started with the Soulbound reward cards, but each of those Soulbound reward cards can still be, as soon as they're earned, they can still be turned around and immediately used in a deck and continue earning. So the card inflation, as we have it, is, in my opinion, something that needs to be addressed. And I'm saying this not because we have so many cards already from Chaos Legion and Chaos Legion rewards. I'm saying that this problem would have been inevitable, right? It doesn't matter that Chaos Legion was oversupplied. at some point in the future, right? Like we would have just hit that point. Basically, I guess what I'm trying to get at here is the rate of cards coming into the system is not growing at the same level that the player base is, and in fact, the player base has shrunk right over the past couple of years. In fact, let's go ahead and see. Can we see this on the 6 month? Maybe not, right? Actually, we can see if you check this out. And again, when I say player base, I'm even talking about, you can include bots in there, but you can see a definite decrease going into December. Now, again, December was an interesting time just because of Rebellion coming out. But if we were to go even further back, right, over the last 6 months, it's a daily average of 50,000 players. We were at, 500,000, 500,000, then dropped to 300 to 400, then dropped to 200. So it's been on a steady decline ever since. Now, obviously, we know most of those ended up being bot accounts, but my point still stands that at the end of the day, what's happening within the game is a problem that will only continue to grow unless we get a massive wave of players. But even then, I think what needs to be thought through is how do you create a sustainable way forward for the amount of cards to always equal the number of players coming in. So let me say this. I think the team has solved one half of this problem so far. With the packs sale and the subsequent burning that's happening for Rebellion, we're seeing that on the pack sale side. Now, hopefully this will still turn up in a way where it's beneficial for the team. And even if they burn 80 to 90% of the packs, they're still going to come away with enough revenue to continue operating. Where I think we should be thinking ahead is the reward cards for Rebellion and what those look like. Now, we, pivoted to Soulbound reward cards a year ago. And I don't want to say that it was like a knee-jerk reaction. I think it was actually a good move for the team to do so. And obviously, it was. I don't want to say that it wasn't thought through, but the fact is that it wasn't, right. It was intentionally not thought through. I mean, Matt wanted to just swap over to Soulbound reward cards and then figure out, what to do in, a year's time or so. There wasn't the let's set hard print dates or hard print limits or a hard print date or anything like that. So once again, in a way, we have gotten massive card inflation. And while that's not impacting the card market per se, right? Just the way that we saw all those other cards dumped on the market, it is impacting the the wild format experience, right? So bringing this full circle, it is impacting the wild format experience. And if we hadn't passed that proposal, it would be impacting the modern format experience too. And here's the thing, I'm not on the bandwagon to say that we should ban bots in wild, because once again, bots aren't the issue. It's an incentives issue, right? So sure, could the team take that stance? Will the bots, comply? That's the big question, right? We gave them all a place to go, and a decent amount of them complied. Again, I'm not saying that there aren't bots in modern, but my whole point is that if you escalate that conflict to the next level, we might finally start to get some pushback, right? So I'm not on that train. I actually believe very strongly and align very strongly with Matt and the team regarding this should be an incentives issue. So taking this back, it all comes down to the amount of cards. There's just a lot of cards in the ecosystem, both sold and given out in rewards, and all of them can earn. And I guess, at the end of the day, what we would like to see is new players coming in, not only soaking up those cards, but soaking up SPS, so that even if you're earning 0.1 SPS in wild format, it's actually worth a lot of money, right? It makes it worthwhile. But we haven't seen that yet, and we could see it later this year. So my only or major takeaway from this is I don't know what the team's plans are for the cutoff of the current Soulbound rewards, but as we get through to the, hopefully Rebellion reward card set, which I'm hoping gets launched later this year, it's just something that I think should be thought through, whether it's from a print rate limit or something, right? It has to be done a little bit differently than things have been done in the past. And kudos to the team for trying different things, right? They tried Soulbound reward cards, and I think that was a good first step. What that second step is, I don't know. I mean, I basically what I'm trying to say is I don't know if it's just hard set limits, but I would like to think through, and I'm kind of throwing this out there just to brainstorm with the community as to how we can reduce the print rate for those cards. Again, I think the Rebellion burn mechanism fantastic, right? It's a good step in the right direction, but from a reward card standpoint, where do we go from here? So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That's all I got for you guys in this video. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.